Hey everybody! Today I have something very important to share with you guys. Now, I honestly have no idea how this video is going to be perceived by my subscribers and anybody else who stumbles upon this video. But I did some research and I encountered some stuff in life that I felt like I had to share with you guys. So I went and searched up the term, the Dark Side of Entrepreneurship on YouTube. And when you do this, you are going to see a ton of very good, insightful content by amazing individuals that hardly get any views. Because, the truth of the matter is, this type of content is getting overshadowed by those fancy, awesome-looking short-form reels and TikToks of people flashing their expensive jewelry, expensive clothing, fancy cars, and million-dollar mansions. And so because of it, we tend to ignore the warning signs and get caught up in the glamour of entrepreneurial success. But today, in this video, I truly do hope that I can change that. And I hope I can open your eyes and give you some real-life experiences, because this simply happened to me. In just my first year of chasing financial freedom, I encountered so many pitfalls and so many trials and tribulations that I felt almost empowered and responsible to share that with you guys. So this video is not just going to be my story or what happened to me, but please use this as a wake-up call for anybody who is chasing financial freedom. I can almost guarantee you that one of the topics I discuss in this video will be able to resonate with you. If not now, then eventually. Because it is bound to happen. There are things that are just bound to happen on your entrepreneurial journey. And so I think it's better to be prepared for those kinds of things in the event that it happens or when it happens. So in this video, I want to talk about a ton of the dark side things in entrepreneurship and in chasing financial freedom that most videos and most people don't talk about. Because I do feel like if I bring it up and you take this information in, you can be better prepared to handle it in the event that it happens. Like I said, I do feel like creating this video was my responsibility. And I strongly believe that everything in life happens for a reason. So everything that I encountered over the past year brought me to this point and brought me to create this very impactful video that I'm so happy to create. And I honestly finally feel ready to talk about everything. So guys, without a further ado, let me get on with the rest of this video and tell you my story. Okay, the first topic that I want to discuss is anxiety. Anxiety is actually really common and it comes up a lot in your day-to-day as an entrepreneur, as someone chasing side hustles. And some examples of that could be financial uncertainty. As somebody who's chasing financial freedom and doing different side hustles, if you quit your job, you're going to be left with financial uncertainty. You're not going to know how you're going to make ends meet every single month, how you're going to pay the bills, and how you're going to keep the lights on and the food on the table. So financial uncertainty is a huge cause of anxiety. Another anxiety pain point is pressure making the right decision. That causes huge anxiety. You don't know if you're making the right decision. You don't know if you should sign that contract or not sign that contract. You don't know if you should start that business or not start that business, invest or not invest. There is so many, pain points right there in making the right decision that causes a lot of anxiety. Another huge part of anxiety for me is fear of failure. Fearing that you're doing something wrong. Fearing that, whatever you're putting all your time, effort, and energy into is going to fail. And it's always in the back of your mind. It's really hard to completely shut that thought off and focus 100% on what you're chasing. But fear of failure is a real thing and a big cause of anxiety for a lot of people. Now, moving on from anxiety is addiction. Addiction is another topic that I really wanted to talk about because it's real. And addiction comes in a ton of different ways. One of the main points of addiction that I want to talk about in this video is workaholism. Workaholism is bound to happen if you're an entrepreneur or if you're finding some sort of success and you love what you're currently doing. You want to spend all the time that you have working, and this is a huge problem. you're going to notice that so many other things are going to start to suffer in your life if you become addicted with working. Other examples of addiction include substance abuse. This is huge. You might turn to drinking, you might turn to drugs, you might turn to other kinds of harmful substances and abuse the heck out of them. Gambling could be another way that you become addicted to something that's harmful. Gambling can be sports betting, can be casinos, can be a variety of different things, but gambling is an addiction that could happen due to entrepreneurship and due to chasing financial freedom. There's a couple others that I can mention. Addiction to the internet or social media. Also, you could be addicted to food, and you could be addicted to an unhealthy way of living as a way to find comfort. And that's equally harmful and hurtful to you. The third thing I want to talk about is depression. Depression is something that, is also super real and something that I experienced along the way. Depression can be feeling lonely, feeling like you have no one. There was so many times where, something really amazing happened to me, or I felt really accomplished about something, and when you finish or when you stop working, you have nobody to celebrate with, nobody to share your win with. And that causes a lot of internal health problems, a lot of mental health problems. And so it's very, hard and sad to deal with depression. Depression also causes low mood, low self-esteem. You could have social withdrawals because of depression, and you could start taking time away from friends, not hanging out with people, not going out like you used to because of this depression. Depression has so many, bad things associated with them. But honestly, depression could change your entire the eating habits, how you eat. You can gain a ton of weight. You can lose a ton of weight. Your sleep patterns can even change because of depression. And all of this stuff is very harmful to you as an entrepreneur, as someone chasing their side hustle or financial freedom, or just you as an individual. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about is divorce. Divorce is huge because, when you start chasing side hustles or you start, finding success in entrepreneurship, you don't realize all the things that are going to be impacted or suffer from your decision. Now, your relationship with other people, with your spouse, with your friends, family, this is huge because all of that stuff could suffer, and they could suffer big. And on the topic of divorce, your relationship with your spouse is huge. When you are chasing your financial freedom or working as an entrepreneur, a lot of your time and energy is going to be spent on the business and the success and the growth, right? So where are you going to suffer? You're going to suffer in your relationship. If you don't dedicate time, if you don't carve out necessary time to hang out with your spouse or talk to them or, go on dates, your relationship is really going to suffer. This leads to marital problems. This leads to cheating. This leads to affairs and lies and betrayal and hurtful words being said. And it's just all around not good for an individual. Now, the fifth thing I want to talk about is fatigue. Fatigue is another real common pitfall that you may encounter as an entrepreneur. In the topic of fatigue, you're going to realize that you're going to work extremely long hours. If you're somebody that still has a full-time job, you're going to have to work your standard 9 to 5, come home, maybe have a little downtime, and then pick up right where you left off on your side hustle. And so you're going to be working till 11, 12, 1 in the morning, working on this after your 9 to 5 job. Another big thing about fatigue is burnout. Burnout is extremely real. It's happened to me, and it happens to so many others out there. Burnout is when you work so hard for a certain period of time, and then eventually you just kind of stop, and you don't want to do anything anymore. You lose motivation. You lose that happiness, that drive, and that passion, and you just stop completely. So along with fatigue, you're going to have decreased motivation. And another part of fatigue is a decrease in cognitive function as well. So many things could go wrong right here with the fatigue part because, you're not going to be exercising. You're not going to be taking care of yourself like you once were. And you're just going to be so tired all the time. We'll get more into that in just a minute. So the sixth one I want to talk about is health problems. Health problems basically speak for itself, but when you stop taking care of yourself, you stop working out, when you stop eating right and eating a balanced diet, or maybe you skip meals altogether, you are bound to run into some health problems. Health problems include weight gain, weight loss, no physical activity, and all of this is so harmful. Something else that comes with health problems is neglecting your physical care, neglecting going to doctor's appointments because you don't have time to go. You don't want to carve out time to go because all of your time wants to be spent on the side hustle. So your health really starts to decline, and this is not good because if you aren't healthy and if you can't work, then what's the point? Now, the seventh topic I want to discuss is stress. Stress is another extremely common one because we tend to overwork ourselves and give us a very heavy workload that causes us to stress out because we're trying to meet deadlines or we're trying to grow and scale the business. And there's so many ways that you could cause stress and put excess stress on yourself by being an entrepreneur and chasing financial freedom. Other parts of stress include competition and competing with others because if they're posting one video every week, then you feel like you have to do the same thing and always trying to match somebody else who's in a similar realm as you. Another big part of stress is stressing out about work-life balance. This is huge. Everybody is always trying to find that balance between home life and work life. And as important as it is, I could make one dedicated video to work-life balance, but it's something that you're always going to have to be working on. You don't just figure it out and then you have it down for the rest of your life or the rest of your journey. This is something that takes time, that's always changing, and you always have to give focus to it. And along with stress is also a lot of added pressure. There's pressure on you to provide. There's pressure on you to succeed. And this causes so much stress that is actually really bad for your heart and then in turn could cause health problems. Now, the eighth and final thing I want to talk about is suicide. Now, this is a really hard topic to discuss, but it is real and it is part of the entrepreneurial journey. If you have too much stress on yourself, if you feel like you're failing, if you can't provide and you're not hitting the goals and the finance that you need, you could encounter starting to have really deep, dark thoughts. You could think about ending your life. You could think about hurting yourself or hurting others. And at this point, you really do need to seek out help. Talking to a therapist, reaching out to loved ones or somebody that may listen to you, or even getting on medication might be the route that you need to take, but it's well worth it. And the truth of the matter is this stuff does happen, and it happens to people every day. When you hear more about my story, I got to this point, and it was only in 1 year of chasing my financial freedom. So if you really do not focus on some of these dark points that I'm making about the entrepreneurial journey, you could very well find yourself encountering one of these or on one of these paths, and it's not good. You have to find and be able to be strong enough to pull yourself out of a really dark place. And so I hope this video can shed some light on that, and I hope my story can as well. Because going through any of this stuff alone or going through any of this stuff in general is difficult and it's hard, and you're really going to feel alone. And honestly, you may be going through multiple of these at the same time, and it's just not good and it's not okay. I hope that I was able to discuss some of these dark side topics, but in a positive light. Like I said, I've gone through a lot of these things, and that's the reason that I created this video. So before I let you guys go, I hope you guys made it this far. Please smash the like button if you can. It would help me out tremendously because I'm super passionate about this topic, and as you can see, we might even create a series and we might start making more content on these types of topics because I feel like it's super important to understand these things and to know how to handle them before they come up. But guys, now it's time for me to share a little bit on my story because you guys have been with me for a very long time and I've been a little bit MIA. So I finally feel ready to talk about it. So let me share. So in February of 2023, that's when everything kind of began for me. I came across the Amazon Influencer program, and the first day that I signed up to be an Amazon influencer was the first day I created a YouTube video and a YouTube channel. I felt like I was preparing all my life to create a YouTube channel. I just never knew what that channel was going to be about. So when I found the Amazon Influencer Program, it was like the stars aligned. Everything started to make sense, and I knew that I needed to document my journey as an Amazon influencer. Well, lo and behold, it's funny because I started so many side hustles along the way, and up until this point, and none of them were really a success. But at the very least, I felt like I could document my journeys, even though they were some failures in the way. Well, lo and behold, the Amazon Influencer Program ends up being a big success for me. Now, with the Amazon Influencer Program, I have to create product review videos, and I'm creating 30 to 60 videos a day. On top of that, I'm creating YouTube videos. So you can imagine I'm working very hard. I'm working extremely long hours. I had 2 other jobs at this point, a full-time job and a part-time job. And it was really hard balancing everything. On top of that, I was married. I was in a relationship for 13 plus years with my high school sweetheart. And, working extremely hard, working all day, coming home, cooking dinner real quick, and then getting back to work. I was going to sleep at a different time than my husband was. I was eating at a different time than the rest of my family was. I was hardly seeing my family, and I was never seeing any of my friends. I neglected everything, and I went all in on my work. Now, as you can see, another thing that ended up happening was burnout. Burnout was a huge thing. Burnout was big because I was creating so much content. I was in front of the cameras a lot. I felt a lot of stress on me. And in the beginning of my Amazon influencer journey, you have to keep creating content to keep seeing the earnings come in. And so every single day doing 30 to 60 product review videos really started to weigh on me and on my relationship. Now, fast forward a whole year of doing it, or almost 8 months of doing it, I finally realized that, I wanted to go all in on myself, and I quit my full-time job. Now, by doing that, I also had moved to a new place, to work on my relationship with my husband. We went to our own place where, we had added bills, and now I'm leaving a full-time job. That left me with financial burdens, right? I was extremely stressed out on how I was going to pay all the bills, and I had to work more. I had to work more hours in a day. I had to make more product review videos because now I have to compensate for the full-time job that I lost and an increase in my bills. So I'm extremely stressed out, working day in and day out, always in front of a camera, hardly eating anything. If anything, it was fast food, and I was never working out. I felt sluggish. I felt brain fog, which I've never felt before, but I started getting brain fog. My sleep was extremely messed up. I was falling asleep on my desk while I'm editing videos, and you can see how bad my life was starting to get. So as these bad habits continue to form, and as time continues to go on, I end up having to get a divorce. My relationship with my husband slips. He has an affair. We end in a divorce. I have a ton of debt and, financial burdens that I have to cover. I have to pay all of this stuff now that I was once covering and paying with a spouse by myself. I have to move back in with my parents. And it's almost like you have to start over. You have to start from scratch. You have to figure out how to live and do life again as an individual. Not only do I have no job, but I'm working as much as possible, trying to figure out how to stop feeling alone, how to rebuild my relationships with my family and my friends, how to find myself and love myself again, because that has all been lost, and work. And so at that point, work fell from the top of my priority list to the very bottom. And I am finally again feeling like I can talk about this stuff. Like maybe this stuff happened to me for a reason. And so I am here to share my story to help you guys. Now, one of the biggest ways that I was able to find help is hanging out with friends and family. That was huge, right? That was something that I neglected and I hadn't spent time rebuilding those connections. But when all of this stuff happened to me, I needed help and I needed people. Now, I also reached out to a therapist and I started talking to somebody, and that's okay. A lot of people feel like, you can't reach out for help or it's seen a certain way, but do it. If you need help, and it's okay. Something else that helped me was reading self-care books and having a community like my YouTube channel of people who are like me, like-minded, who may have encountered the same thing, and being able to talk. So my channel has helped me tremendously through my whole entire journey. That's a big reason why I started going live for hours at a time, because I didn't know what else to do or how else to stay busy. So guys, that's a short version of my story. Maybe one day I can go into way more depth, but I hope you guys are able to take something from this video and understand that this is all coming from my heart. This stuff means so much to me, because if it didn't, I wouldn't be taking the time and getting vulnerable with you guys. There's a lot of stuff that I lost, or a lot of things that affected me over this year of my entrepreneurial journey. And when I started this channel, I said I was going to be transparent and I was going to be here to motivate and help others. And so these things happened to me for a reason. And I am here to help you guys and motivate you guys. Because through and through, no matter what may happen to you, we are going to get through it together. And you're going to get through it. Everything's going to be okay. I'm not trying to talk you out of entrepreneurship or make you stop chasing your financial freedom journey. No, that's not what I'm doing with this video. But I truly feel like by pointing out these dark side topics to you guys will be able to handle the situation differently. You'll be able to recognize it quicker. And if you need help, you reach out to somebody. Because trust me, the entrepreneurial journey is worth it. We do want to chase it. The journey in and of itself is going to be amazing. But there are going to be hiccups along the way. And if you don't have everything together, if you don't feel ready, and if you don't feel that passion and that drive and that motivation, you're not going to be able to get through some of these pitfalls and continue your success journey. So for this last part of the video before I end it, I want to leave you guys with some words of wisdom. The first thing I want to say is just never change the person that you are at heart. Stay true to yourself and trust yourself. Trust your gut and trust your judgment. Don't ever give up. Trust the process, and like I said, trust yourself. Also, remember that your words are very important. They carry a lot of weight. So be careful with what you say and use your words wisely. Also, you have done enough. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. Don't ever feel like you haven't done enough. Always leave it all on the table and never have any regrets. Something else that I learned is people come and go. You're going to lose friends, and that's okay. Because the true ones, the ones that are most faithful and are supposed to be in your life, are always going to stick around. Failure. Failure is not an option around here. Failure only happens when you don't try something. If you fail at something, just take it as a learning experience and put that stuff under your belt. Don't beat yourself up over failure, and just remember that failure is only if you don't try it. Last but not least, live in the moment. Be present and live for today, not for tomorrow. And never look back. Everything is straight ahead, okay? So thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.